Hi and welcome to my video on fly stitch where I'll show you 3 ways of doing this stitch: the basic way, ways of connecting them, and then connecting them into a circular design. Fly stitch is actually relatively new to me. I tend to just have 2-3 types of stitch that I use and then repeat them and try to do them in as many different ways as possible. Fly stitch, I think I first started using it on my seasonal scroll, and I love how quickly you can cover an area with texture, and it creates this really interesting mesh, almost net-like mesh, which you can build up in a very organic way. Or if you wanted something more geometric looking, you could place some marks down beforehand and create yourself a grid and stitch to that. I've shared a few shorts of me using the stitch, and I've had a few questions about how I begin the stitch, so I thought I would just do a very basic tutorial and show you how I start mine off. But I'll start with a disclaimer. I'm not a traditional embroidery artist. I kind of make things up as I go along. I've only just learnt the name of this stitch, if I'm honest. So if you're looking for something neat and structured and perfect, perhaps find someone else to teach you. But if you're willing to kind of give it a go in my slapdash kind of way, then stick around, and this is the way that I do it. I have a couple of different ways of growing the mesh triangle shape, depending on whether I want to start at the point of the triangle or whether I'd rather start at the base and get narrower as I go up. So the first one I'll show you is when I'm starting at the base and getting narrower. I've knotted the thread and I bring the needle up from underneath, and then leaving a small gap going down but holding on to the tail end of the cotton, bringing my needle back up and forming a kind of triangle shape, just catching that loop. And all I'm doing is another tiny stitch close to where it came out to kind of anchor that shape down, so it forms a little V shape. So I'm continuing over to the right, coming up at the base of the triangle, doing the same again, leaving a small space, coming back between the 2 stitches to form a triangle, pulling it tight and catching the loop, and then going back into the fabric, a small stitch to hold that loop down. And I'll just keep moving across in this manner, depending on how wide I want the base of the triangle to be. So my triangle is going to be 3 triangles wide, and then all I need to do after I've done that last triangle is to carry on the next row in the opposite direction. Now, for some reason in this video, I've gone right back to the left, but I could have just started on that right triangle and worked the other way around. But as you can see, I'm just trying to get my needle just where that small anchor stitch is, and then I'm just starting the whole process again, going back to the top of the other triangle, bringing my needle up through the middle and catching that loop. And you can see how quickly this stitch begins to build and to fill a surface area. What can look lovely with this stitch is to use a variegated thread so that the colour shifts as the shape starts to grow. I'm using a pearl cotton number 8 here, which I find it really easy to use because unlike embroidery floss, it's not stranded. So you just stitch with the whole thread as it is, and it's got a slightly satin sheen to it, so if it does get knotted, then it's really easy to untangle. So for the purpose of this video, I have some cotton fabric. It's actually a repurposed cotton sheet. I've stretched it over a small hoop, and I have the hoop clamped to my table just to reduce the fatigue on my hands. Once you've finished that last stitch, just flip your hoop over and knot it from the back to secure it. So the next method of building up a connected fly stitch is to start at the point of the triangle this time, and we begin in the same way, making a single fly stitch and then anchoring around the top as before, but this time we're going downwards. So underneath your hoop, you're just going to find the point on your fabric that extends the side of the triangle down. So just follow that diagonal. You're going to use the wrong end of the needle to kind of loop under the top stitch and then go back down to the back. Coming back up again, I'm just taking it slightly to the left of the leg of the triangle, and then again using the wrong end of the needle to go under the stitch above and then continuing down on the diagonal. And then again, now working from right to left, I'm following that diagonal line, beginning another row of triangles, threading back under the stitch at the top and continuing in that manner. Now this way of connected fly stitch, it's a lot looser, I think, because it doesn't have that little anchor stitch holding down the top of the triangle, and I find it's a little bit more organic. I never mark the fabric beforehand, so I think you could do it neater, but I prefer my triangles to look slightly uneven and to get bigger and smaller, and to me that just kind of increases the mesh-like quality that I'm trying to achieve. I imagine it a bit like a fishing net being cast over the water, so in some places the holes will be bigger, in others they'll be smaller. Of course, there's nothing stopping you from using the same technique as we did before, and just continuing your fly stitches, but just getting wider and wider as you move down the rows of the triangle. Just depends which kind of effect you like the best. Again, when you've done your last stitch, turn your hoop over and knot securely from the back to keep your stitches in place. So you can see side by side the very subtle differences between the two approaches, the left one perhaps looking slightly more controlled and neater than the right. Fly stitch looks lovely as an individual stitch in its own right. I'm going to work a few small stitches and group them together. I'm spacing them quite closely together, so I'm just travelling the thread underneath and bringing it back up to begin the stitch again. Now I'm trying another variation on this stitch. It begins in the same way, creating your loop. And bringing the needle back up to form your triangular shape, catching the loop. But this time, instead of putting the needle straight back down where it came out, you're going to extend it a little further to create a Y shape. You can repeat this stitch, and depending on your placement, it can resemble tracks in the ground like bird tracks, or you can group them together and they can represent the stamens of a flower. I'm going to continue mine round and round, coming back to the centre point, so it creates a circular, almost dandelion type shape. I'm just freestyling this, so it'll be uneven, but if I wanted a perfect circle, I would draw the circle on beforehand and mark the centre point so that I know that all my stitches are the same length. I imagine this would look lovely as a stitch that's layered over solid shapes, like a circle that's perhaps been appliqued on or painted or printed on the fabric beforehand, and then you would layer on top this type of stitch to make a more linear design. It's definitely a stitch that comes into its own when it's combined with other techniques. So hopefully that was a more detailed explanation on how to get started with this really versatile and fun stitch. Do try it out and try layering it over your other textile pieces and let me know how you get on. If you like this video, it really helps me as a creator if you could like it, subscribe to my channel and perhaps leave me a little comment. Thanks for your support and see you next time. Bye bye.